Dehumidification. Dehumidification for dogs. What does a dehumidifier do? What does dehumidification do for a dog? Dehumidification takes moisture out of the atmosphere. When you have dogs outside in the kennel and you spray the dogs with the hose, or spray their kennel with the hose, I should say, and clean it out, when you put the water down, the dog gets wet. When it rains, the dog gets wet. The area that the dog lives in becomes very wet. Also, when you have dogs indoors and you clean that area, it becomes wet. Here at the camp, we do a lot of cleaning, a lot of scrubbing, a lot of dog baths. Sometimes the dogs get wet. We literally have to hose the dogs down after a long run because the dogs are overheating, especially in the summertime. So you may have a dog and the dog is experiencing hair loss. The dog has got white patches on it, or the dog is constantly scratching. And if that dog is in a wet environment, that is most likely caused by moisture. Moisture feeding bacteria, moisture feeding fungus, moisture just making the skin really bad, the fur bad, and the area bad. Here we scrub the floor with soap or degreaser, then we rinse and then sanitize. We'll show you that process eventually. But when you do that, the house has become very moist here. So we needed a dehumidifier because the fan was blowing. We were using the fan, and the fan was actually just creating moisture. Piles of water were just forming on the floor. So we got a dehumidifier. Midea. Wow, there she goes. Oh, we will leave a link in the description, a link in the bio. We will send you a link. Hit the link, and you can get this dehumidifier right here that we got. This dehumidifier, I believe, from here, it has 3 settings. It can do 20 to 22 pints of dehumidification. That is if you have 60% dehumidification. Then it can do 35 pints if you got 60 to 80. And it can do 50 pints if you're 80 and above. 80 and above, if you're above 100% dehumidification is water. And that's actually where we are. We're at the water mark. So we're going to always leave ours on high, no matter what. But this can be for someone, like if you want to set the setting. Sometimes having an animal too dry is not good. But here at the camp, we're not going to worry about having no animal too dry. We're going to keep it at 50 pints. And this thing actually doesn't store 50 pints. I believe it only stores a couple of pints. We haven't used it yet, but it has a drawer on it to show you where the water level is, I presume. It has a thing right here where you can hook up a hose for a drain. But the drain definitely did not come in this box. Or at least I didn't see it. And it doesn't advertise it here. It does not advertise it. But it does have wheels. It has wheels on it so that it can move easily for someone that is not that strong. It has a removable filter, so you can clean this filter off by spraying a little degreaser on it and then spraying it down with a hose. Also, by this being exposed, I can spray it. Maybe I spray it with my degreaser, then I spray it down and clean it out. Or maybe I'll just take it all apart, the whole thing apart, and clean it out, because it's going to get dusty on the inside. Hopefully I can get at least a year or 2 out of use out of this thing, because it's a tough environment. This thing is app and voice controlled. So I can set it up to an app and measure and monitor how much water and moisture is coming out. I don't need to do all that, but we'll probably still do that just because there may be some added features or something that we can learn from that. But here it's very wet. So hopefully my wife can figure out how to do that. Because I'm not good with reading directions or electronic stuff. I don't read shit. I just put shit together. It comes with the wheels. Like I said, the reusable filter, and it's voice activated. The fan has a low, high, and a medium filter. It's got a timer. It's got conditions, so we're gonna set ours for super dry. Like I said, if you want this machine right here, click the link in the bio. We're gonna put a link. Hit the link, man. Let your boy get a couple dollars, baby. But we're just showing you what we use. It's very nice looking, and also you can use this if maybe you have dogs in your house and you're constantly cleaning your carpet. I try to tell people, like, when you're cleaning your carpet indoors and you have a dog that's constantly using the bathroom, you want to take something to dry the spot out, i.e. a cheap soap powder. So I will put a cheap soap powder there, dry your spot out on the carpet. After that dries up, you sweep it up, and then you clean the spot. Don't add water to a wet mess. I tell people this all the time. People don't listen. Everybody got to learn on their own. If you got a dog that pee on the floor, don't add water to the pee. Add a dry substance to the pee. Dry it up, clean that up, then shampoo the area. That way you're getting the piss up off the ground. If I have a piss in the basement from the dog, I will put down wood chips and soap powder. They got cheap soap powders at Walmart. Cheap soap powders. They got strong smells. It comes in the bag. Put that down on the smell. Soaks the stuff up. You sweep that up. Then you mop and clean the area, and then you turn your dehumidification on. Also, if you have dogs that are outside that are experiencing fur damage, skin damage, have a section in your house where you can bring those dogs in, or maybe you build a container outside where you can take those dogs, put them in that area, turn on the dehumidifier, and dry them out. So what you want to do is try to keep that dog as dry as possible. So me personally, I'm assuming that if you have an outdoor setup, you probably want the dog out most of the day. So start off with 12 hours outside, 12 hours inside with the dehumidification. Then you can move up from there. On drier days, when it's not as wet, maybe you can have them out for 8 hours. That will help the skin. I have a lot of dogs that are having a little bit of skin issues because of outside. It's very wet. In their kennels, it's very wet because you're constantly cleaning. Hit the link. Shop with your boy. Thanks.